talk radio, music, and podcasts from the Korean Peninsula. KoreaFM.net. Organizers and volunteers for Democrats Abroad gathered Tuesday night here in Seoul to discuss voting results for the group's global presidential primary, where 69% of Americans living abroad chose Bernie Sanders as their presidential candidate, with Hillary Clinton coming in second with 31%. I attended the event and spoke with U.S. citizens living here in Seoul about their combined efforts that led to 752 recorded votes, with nearly 93% of voters in Korea supporting Bernie Sanders.
My name's David Wagner. I'm a professor at Hanyang University. I've been in Korea for 8 years, and I inherited the chair of Democrats Abroad last year when the previous chair moved back to the States. Democrats Abroad basically represents the interests of all the American citizens living abroad, and used to be very strong in Korea around the 2008 election of Barack Obama, but since that time, the membership has kind of dropped off. So we do not have sufficient membership to become an official branch of Democrats Abroad. So therefore, we could not open an official polling station. But the result was Bernie Sanders gets 9 delegates and Hillary Clinton gets 4 delegates out of the 13 delegates that Democrats Abroad has. Now, specifically Korea voted very much in favor of Bernie Sanders. I think it was over 90%. However, the way that the delegates are allocated, each region gets a certain number of delegates based on how many people vote in the region. So our region is the Asia Pacific, which includes the Asia and Australia continents. So we get 2 delegates. And because of the way we voted, we will send 1 delegate for Bernie Sanders and 1 delegate for Clinton.
While Clinton and Sanders each received 1 delegate from the Asia-Pacific region, here in South Korea, voting results were much more one-sided, with Bernie Sanders receiving his highest ratio of support in the entire world. And after speaking with those in attendance at the Democrats Abroad results party, it quickly became clear how one woman may be responsible for those results.
My name is Michaela Kingsbury, and I moved to Korea at the end of 2010 to teach English. And so I actually found out about the Democrats Abroad election process about a week before the deadline. I have been a really big supporter of Bernie Sanders for the past few months, and so I had tried registering to vote from abroad in my home state of California, but I didn't even know if there would be an absentee ballot coming in the mail or when it would come. And so I was talking about this with a friend of mine, and he said, oh, yeah, well, you know, you can vote through the Democrats Abroad primary, right? And I was stunned, completely floored that this existed. In fact, I was incredulous. I was like, that can't be right. And so I looked online, found all the information, and sure enough, you could vote from online from anywhere in the world through Democrats Abroad. And there was sort of like this moment where I made the connection between how easy it was to vote and how many people there were here in Seoul that wanted to vote, and I decided that I had to do something about it. I found out about the voting process on a Wednesday, knew that the clock was ticking, and I only had until basically the end of the weekend. The deadline was on a Tuesday, but I knew that there would be a lot of people walking around in the Haebangchon, Gyeonggi-nan area, and put out the word for volunteers to come out and help me. And I created a Facebook event, and we just decided to go out on the street and try to get passersby in the Itaewon area to come and vote with us. And all of those 500 ballots that I had printed were distributed. And the total vote count for all of the Democrats Abroad in South Korea ended up being 735 people. So a majority of those probably came through my Get Out the Vote effort. And so had I not done that, I don't know what the voter turnout would have been. I think we accomplished something pretty awesome.
In addition to a strong effort by Bernie Sanders supporters to turn out the vote, Michaela Kingsbury says expats in South Korea are more likely to favor Sanders over Clinton.
Of course, people can vote for whoever they want. We were very encouraging of people to participate in the democratic process and vote for whichever candidate they wanted, but people were overwhelmingly supportive of Bernie Sanders. And I think it's because a lot of the people who are here are young. A lot of people who are here came here as a result of maybe not being able to find great jobs or find affordable housing back in the United States. And so Bernie's message about bringing back the middle class and an affordable middle class lifestyle to working people in the United States really resonates with the demographic of Americans who live in Seoul. We had a couple of Republicans ask us if there were an option for them to vote. Had to explain that the Republican Party doesn't offer that to their overseas voters and that that's a pity, but they need to take that up with their own party.
I also spoke with one voter who says this election brought him back to taking an interest in politics after leaving the country during the Reagan presidency.
My name is Kelly McCluskey. I'm from Oregon, and we vote in May. The primary's in May. So I was just going to try to get my act together early this time, because last time it was a last-minute thing, and I wanted to be on top of it this time. And then I have this alarm app that wakes me up, and it has like an ad. And this time it was Democrats Abroad. They had bought some space on this ad, and just within the first line, it had me kind of hooked because it was saying, "You can vote now in the primary." And I'm like, "What?" I had no idea. I'd researched this on the official election site website, and there was no mention of people living abroad having any other option other than the paper ballot form. I left the country because of Reagan, actually. Reagan's war on poverty and all that. And then I saw this Sanders guy, and I couldn't believe he was a Democrat, and saying these things that he was. So I was like, wait a minute. So I joined up and, I tried to sign people up. And I was amazed that everybody had the same experience as me. Nobody knew. They thought I was trying to sign them up to something that they weren't eligible for. So it was kind of strange. But I actually ended up signing up at least one Hillary supporter. And, it is democracy. You should vote for whoever you want to vote for. So if you want to go Hillary, go crazy. But just don't forget that she's going to lose against Trump. That's all I can say.
For KoreaFM.net, I'm Chance Storland.